The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Yeomans.
Go! Go! Dallas Cowboys!
For the first time in 2024, it is officially a Victory Monday here on Talkin Cowboys as Week 1 belongs to the Dallas Cowboys. 33-17, an absolute dismantling of the Cleveland Browns up at Huntington Bank Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. The Cowboys rock and roll their way to a 1-0 start. Welcome into Talkin Cowboys, everybody. Presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. We've got Patrik "No C" Walker fresh off the plane. Josh Rodriguez fresh off of posting literally every piece of content DallasCowboys.com has to offer. And then we've got Chris Beam in the back, also fresh off the plane, helping bring that content to you. I'm Kyle Yeomans, fresh out of the studio and back into the podcast.
We're just fresh. Yeah, everybody was cooking up, man.
You're darn right.
The team was cooking up on the field. Our team was cooking up in the press box and here in Frisco with the pregame and the postgame, and then Josh and Beamer and Alex and just everybody, Scott and Roxanne, man, we do it. We get it done.
And, of course, a win off the field as well for the front office, locking up Dak
Little
Prescott.
bit. Let's talk about some news.
You want to talk about that right off the top? Just get it taken care of. 33-17 Cowboys win, but let's talk about the contract.
Yeah, something happened before that win. Yeah. So let's go chronologically, okay? Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys agreed to terms and finalized a deal that makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. 4 years. 4 years, $240 million. I was thinking 660 average. 4 years, $240 million max contract value, averaging $60 million a year, but $231 million guaranteed, which puts him I take it. Which puts him $1 million over the quarterback that he just defeated in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, who had $230 million guaranteed. So Dak Prescott across the board making history with this record-setting contract a few hours ahead of kickoff because the Cowboys like to keep things spicy, I suppose.
Definitely so. By the way, Deshaun Watson has $172 million of dead cap next year.
Yeah. Because they reworked it, and it's now it's even worse.
Yeah, that's not looking very good right now for the Cleveland Browns. They didn't look great. Dak, I mean, the offense didn't have to do much. And we've talked about that previously on the show is you don't want the offense to have to carry you to victories. Can they at times carry you to a victory? Certainly, yes. I think there's times for that. But yesterday, it was all about the defense. The defense shined. Special teams shined. Turpy, speed did what he needed to do. 60 yards out in the punt return.
Yeah, it's a movement. I'm going to let you be great today. but yes, Turbo Terp absolutely did a thing.
Is that what I need to do next time? So last night on our highlight read, I dropped the Turpy speed, and I sent it.
If you know, you know. Talking Cowboys fans, they know. Turpy speed is the name.
Yep, we mentioned
Not
it back
all
in camp.
movements are righteous, my friend.
Josh Rodriguez made that nickname in camp, so I got to give him credit where credit is due. I'll use
I appreciate you for dropping it. That
Turbo
was awesome.
Terp next time. I'll
Turbo
drop it next
Terp.
time. Yeah. Well, he'll have it
or turn up Terp. You know what I'm saying? Like
turn up. You got to say it. You got to enunciate it though, because it just sounds like you said turn up Terp, like turnip.
Turnip. Yeah. No.
No.
Like he enjoys turnips. That's what I mean.
No, that's not what you meant.
No?
But
Okay.
nice.
He got his vegetables.
Nice side step though.
Close enough.
Yeah, okay.
But I love the nicknames, and finally, I mean, he's an all-pro returner. We knew that.
100%. But his first
You
touchdown.
finally get an opportunity to return it in the regular season. It was special. It was cool to see. I mean, there were a lot of special moments. You had DeMarvion Overshown with a sack returning from injury.
God.
You had Trayvon Diggs with an interception returning from injury. Turpin, Dak's moment, just having that contract, you could tell he was playing a little loose. I mean, he was ready to roll. Maybe not much different than what he normally does, but I mean, he's got $230 million reasons not to.
In his pocket.
Yeah, not to.
That direct deposit looks nice.
Yeah. But, Josh, your biggest takeaway from the game yesterday?
Biggest takeaway from the game was the defense. Defense. They were flying out there. I think, Patrik, you said it on Twitter, is that he's going to have nightmares about DeMarvion Overshown at night. You know what I mean? It's great to see the linebackers flying the way they are. And we've talked about it since camp, just absolutely turning over the linebacking room from last year to this year, the pieces that they put in. I know we weren't all thrilled about the offseason moves we were making, but here they are. You know, Eric Kendricks was one of the best signings we've had in years, free agent signings in years.
That's a right now, lightning in a bottle, very quick sample size. He had 9 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception.
Monster.
Monster. That's unbelievable.
And in control of the defense. He knows it like the back of his hand, obviously, with working with Mike Zimmer. But that is such a crucial element to the season. I hope he stays healthy. But for me, that was it, is defense as a whole.
You know, I agree with that, but I'll shrink it just a little bit and go back to my focal point that I stated on Friday was Deshaun Watson versus what? The Cowboys linebacker group, right? So we talk about Eric Kendricks, you talk about DeMarvion Overshown, even Samaris Leofau. Those guys were freaking flying. They were all over the field. They showed speed, but not only did they show speed, but they showed high football intellect as well with the pre-snap and the post-snap recognition, the ability to knife through potential blockers to get what they needed to get. Nothing encapsulates it more than Eric Kendricks' sack, one of the two, and DeMarvion Overshown when Deshaun Watson breaks pocket, he gets flushed out to his right. There's nothing but green over here. It's 4th and 6. There's no reason Deshaun Watson should not get this first down except for that guy named DeMarvion Overshown. Absolutely covered real estate. Okay, he ran so fast, I think the Earth's rotation broke for a second and then regained itself after he stopped running. Teleports from virtually the other side of the field, sideline to sideline ball, takes him down, not after the line of scrimmage, not at the line of scrimmage, for a 3-yard loss. The linebackers for the Cowboys, talk about how a switch has flipped over last season. Honestly, they had some injury issues last season as well. But to see this type of speed, talent, and depth, this is the Zim effect in full effect, and I can't get enough of it.
That one play in particular, DeMarvion Overshown covering ground, getting to Deshaun Watson. You know, he broke, I think it was the speed, I don't know the actual miles per hour, but he covered 5 yards per second.
I got it right here. He covered, you're correct. Closing speed was 5 yards per second. He covered over 14 yards in only 2.8 seconds. Are you kidding me? Now I want to add to that. This is his first game. And I want to add to that, he suffered a torn ACL last year. And he was out there doing what he was doing. Kendricks had a monster game. DeMarvion Overshown, monster game. And kudos to those guys up front as well. Michael Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. Monster game for DeMarcus Lawrence. Not to be forgotten, Osa Odigizua in helping create those pressures that drove Watson where the linebackers wanted him to go. And then you got the coverage. Kalen Carson. How about the rookie?
He almost had 3.
He almost had a pick 6 on that first target.
He almost did.
Yeah.
He almost had 3 interceptions.
He was jumping everything. At some point, he's going to get got by the double move. Yeah. Like, it's going to happen, and he will get burned. But, like,
that reaction time.
I'm okay with it right now.
His reaction is ridiculous.
I'm okay with it. I mean, what was it? 2 targets for
I think it was
Amari
6
Cooper.
yards, right?
Yeah, it was like 6. It was nothing.
It was nothing. He shut him down.
Seatbelt. I mean, it was Seatbelt Carson all over.
Cooper finished the game with. He was targeted 9 times. He only got 2 catches for a total of 16 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Cooper, he being Kalen Carson, wasn't on Cooper 100% of the time.
Correct.
But Jerry Jeudy, 3 catches for 25 yards. He did give up that 1 touchdown on the right-hand side. But when you talk about Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Kalen Carson handled his business. And then Trayvon Diggs, he's looking like he's back. I just dropped a stat this morning on Trayvon Diggs.
He pulled the John Wick. I'm thinking I'm back.
Trayvon Diggs yesterday was targeted 10 times, 6 receptions, 23 yards allowed, no touchdowns allowed, got an interception, and most impressively, outside of the interception, he had a team low tight window percentage per Next Gen Stats, 10%. 10% of the time.
Wow.
They had, to understand that, 10% of the time, they had a wider window. So 90% of the time it was tight.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Unfreaking believable.
And a lot of that, the credit has to be done. I mean, the success in the secondary cannot be overshadowed, but it starts up front, and it starts with the pressure.
Yes.
Cleveland could not block Micah Parsons. Cleveland could not block DeMarcus Lawrence.
Nope.
Cleveland could not find any time to throw the football, so it helps out the secondary, helps out a little bit of everybody. And, I mean, Micah, his stat line isn't going to jump off the page. He had 5 tackles. He had 1 sack. He may have 500 pressures. I mean, he had, let me see how many snaps he had. How many snaps did he play? 69 snaps. Nice. 69 snaps for Micah Parsons. I bet you he had 60 pressures. I mean, it was just an unbelievable showing, and some of the plays that he made. I mean, he made the Kendricks interception.
Oh, the pass deflection right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the ability, we broke it down on OT yesterday with Barry Church. The fact that he can stop on a dime, he can rush with that much force and that much speed and momentum, and then stop on a dime and then jump that high in the air and tip a pass. It's almost unstoppable.
It feels that way. Granted, they're playing with backup tackles, both sides.
A lot of times it wasn't just the tackles, though.
They get paid too.
On his sack, he beat a Pro Bowler to get in the backfield.
Yeah.
On the sack for DeMarcus Lawrence, where Parsons' pressure forced him wide, and D-Law was there waiting on him. He did that against the Pro Bowl left guard, rather. It wasn't just those guys. Now, they struggled, no doubt. They're backups. It's going to happen. But at the same time, he was doing it against everybody.
He was flying all over the place, and I loved seeing him drop back into coverage too. And that even fooled Watson for. I think we were talking about it last Friday, right before the game. Even Isaiah was talking about it. It's like the plan here is just to make Deshaun Watson uncomfortable in every facet, and I think you did that.
Safe to say.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, he couldn't get into any sort of rhythm until the second half. I think they had 1 first down going into the second half.
And they were 2 of 15 on third down too. That's unbelievable.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and there was a stat early in the game where on third down, Dallas had held Cleveland to an average yards per game length of about 8 yards. So I think they were 0 for their first 8 from third down, and it was an average of 8 yards to go on third down. So that's keeping your team, your opponent behind the sticks.
Correct.
Keeping them at second down, third down, and long. That's the key to success here. Is having success on first and second down, and then third down will go as it may.
Yeah. And so much to point out here that's positive to take away from this. Now, was it a perfect outing? No, because technically, if it were, the Cowboys would have hung 40 on them by halftime.
It would have been last year's
right.
opener.
They kind of things stalled a little bit offensively in the second half, but we'll get to that. But the positives are, there's a laundry list of them, because talk about young guys and like Kalen Carson, DeMarvion Overshown, Maris Leofau on defense. Talk about Marshawn Kneeland. Okay, Marshawn Kneeland, he had 6 pressures yesterday.
Wow.
And yes,
he didn't necessarily fly off the screen.
Go back and watch the film. He was jumping. And
you said 6 pressures?
6 pressures yesterday. This is per next.
That's on
stats.
44 snaps.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
44 snaps, and 33 of those were pass rushes.
How many did Parsons have? Sorry.
Per next gen stats, he had 9. So he had 3 more than Marshawn Kneeland. It felt like
90?
More. Yeah, 90.
Oh, okay.
90.
90 on 69
My bad,
snaps.
right here. I like that. But when you're talking about Micah Parsons walks away with 9 pressures, and it feels like more, go look at the film, and Marshawn Kneeland, rookie second-round pick, only has 3 fewer pressures on Deshaun Watson than does your all-world pass rusher Micah Parsons. There was one play in particular, because Marshawn Kneeland, he did it with some speed, but he also did it with the bull rush. This was I have it marked in my notes here, 9th drive for the Browns. Cowboys up 27-10. 1st and 10 on the Dallas 11. Kneeland bull rushes the tackle to force the bad throw. He basically put him in the lap of Deshaun Watson and forced him to sail a throw middle deep to the left. That won't show up on the stat line, right? So as a casual fan, you're not going to see that. You're going to say, oh, where was Marshawn Nealon? Go back and watch the film. Marshawn Nealon popped just as much as Kalen Carson did, just as much as almost as much as DeMarvion Overshown did. So not only do you have a defense that's showing unpredictability, even though they only showed 3 sets out of 50 plays. As Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons said yesterday, that's terrifying. But you have youth mixing with the veteran experience, Eric Kendricks, Micah Parsons, Osa, DeMarcus Lawrence, Malik Hooker back there with Wanya and Marquise. This defense is a problem.
Also, Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis was
talk about it.
He was in on it.
He's a menace.
He really was.
He was a menace.
So I'm going to shout this out. In the second quarter, there was a wide receiver screen to Elijah Moore. Jordan Lewis takes his blocker and shoves him into Elijah Moore.
And then got a holding penalty on the guy who he shoved into Elijah Moore.
Insane. Jordan Lewis was an absolute menace yesterday.
And add to that, fourth drive for the Browns. Cowboys are up 7-3. Right, Browns are trying to answer the Cowboys touchdown. 3rd and 9, empty set. Watson drops back. He hits David Njoku in space. This is a first down, right? Nope. Jordan Lewis in space takes down a man almost twice his size. He punches above his weight class. He's a menace in the open field.
And I think that brings up
forces a punt, by the way. That ended in a punt.
Yes.
I think it brings up a bigger conversation too about the cornerbacks. I mean, a lot of the heat that the corners have taken over the years, and by over the years, I mean mostly 2022. I thought we saw a bit of a step forward last year. Excuse me. And maybe we're seeing another step from that. But the physicality when it comes to slowing down guys in the flat, whether it's a running back, a wide receiver, tight end, doesn't matter. You wanted to see, and a lot of us were calling to see, the corners head downhill. They're not only heading downhill, they are doing it with a purpose. And I think Jordan Lewis has helped that out a lot. Trayvon Diggs had, 5 tackles last night?
Yes, and there were a couple of times that they were in space, and he came up and he wrapped up.
And he made a very good play. And that's
all following last year's Tyron Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, and that's following an injury, too. He was extra physical last year, got hurt. Trayvon Diggs, being who he is as a coverage corner, could have very easily said, you know what, I tried the physicality thing. I got hurt.
Yeah, he could have Deion'd that thing.
No big deal. I'll play my coverage game. Everybody else can tackle. We can do that thing later.
Could have made a business decision.
Not the case. He's heading downhill. He's hitting. He's beelining straight to the ball carrier, and they are wrapping up just fundamentally. And I love it. I saw Jordan Lewis in the training table just before we hopped on, and we had a conversation earlier in the week during open locker room where I asked him about Amari. I was like, what do you think Amari has for you? And he's like, well, he's a technician. He's a great route runner, all these things. He's like, and Amari, he loves to play the mental game. He loves to get in your head before the game even starts. So I was like, did you talk to him? He said, no, I haven't talked to him yet. I'll talk to him after. And he's like, but I know he's thinking something early in the game, something pregame, whatever it may be. He's got something for me. And I was like, okay. And he kind of paused and he looked at me and he goes, and I've got something for him.
I love it.
And I saw him in the training table. I was like, so you had something for him, huh?
Dog.
You had something for him. He said, I had something for everybody.
Dog. And he did. And he did. Showed.
Yeah.
And Jordan Lewis, perennially one of the most underrated players on this roster.
Yes.
We often, annually, we talk about how, casual fans underrate DeMarcus Lawrence. But I think Jordan Lewis is arguably right up there with DeMarcus Lawrence as far as being underrated by fans. Every year, a large faction of fans try to replace him, right? They try to replace him with an incoming rookie, or they try to replace him with this person or that person, and all he does is continue to play at a high level. Bottom line, now, flipping over to the offensive side of the ball, Zeke. Right, Zeke's stat line is not going to floor you, 40 yards and a touchdown. But look at when the touchdown happened, and guess what? It was short yardage. What did the Cowboys struggle in last year? Short yardage situations. He also looked spry, right? So he averaged four yards a carry, but he was also doing some work as a receiver out of the backfield, right? First play, what does he do? He hurdles a guy to let you know I'm back. There's still some tread on these tires. Now it gets called back because of holding on Jalen Tolbert, but nonetheless the tone was set. The message had been set.
I want to talk a little bit more about Zeke. I want to talk a little bit more about the offense because it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. It was a dominant win. Cowboys did everything they needed to do to win. I'm not going to take away from that, but I do want to see some growth, especially on the offensive side. Fair. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later or a little bit when we come back. What went right, what went wrong for the offense. We've talked about the defense, and we could keep talking defense all day long. We're not going to do that. We'll be right back with more Talking Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts nearby, you can keep life moving forward the way you need it to. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
This portion of the Talking Cowboys podcast is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877.
Bring out the good.
Bring out the good in Quaker Oats. The Quake R code. It's next to Josh now.
Yeah.
There it is. How about that? Opportunity to click that Quake R code.
The Quake R code.
Get your Quaker Oats, and you can eat just like the Cowboys do.
If you ever want your oats digitally, please use the Quake R code.
Cowboys brought out the good in Cleveland.
Oh.
They brought out the good.
I like the transition there.
Yeah.
But we're talking offense, so it's...
No, they CeeDee Lamb.
They were fine. They were fine.
CeeDee Lamb. What rust?
Okay.
All right.
Couple things.
I disagree.
Ooh.
I disagree.
Okay.
There were a few drops on CD yesterday.
He had 10 targets, 5 receptions.
There were some drops on CD yesterday.
And also a couple of holding penalties that didn't get called.
That's fair. And he ran the ball really well.
But they didn't get called. So they still didn't get called.
But they happened.
Didn't get called.
Okay, so
I'm not going to sit here and make hypotheticals for CD.
Let me qualify what I'm saying. And there is a reason I put CeeDee Lamb on as one of my game breakers. Go check that article out on the .com, ladies and gentlemen. It's because this is a guy who missed the entirety of training camp.
Yes.
Okay. And still was able to come in. And a lot of people were wondering, first of all, before the game started, they were wondering, if he would play in the days preceding the game. And then, of course, he's going to play. They move him onto the active roster. The question mark was still, will he be on the pitch count? Will his workload management come into account? What I saw from the Cowboys is that they more or less fully unleashed CeeDee Lamb. And for him to have 86 yards from scrimmage and doing it as both a receiver and as a halfback, that's what I mean when I say what rust. That's what I mean when I say what rust. I spoke with CeeDee Lamb after the game in the locker room.
He wasn't on a pitch count.
Yeah,
He had
Fair.
45 snaps, 71%.
Which makes his production that much more, because now you're talking efficiency.
Yeah.
Right? So spoke with him after the game, and of course he's all smiles, and asked how he's feeling, and something stuck out to me. He said, I was able to do what I did, and that wasn't me fully unleashed. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, that was day one of my training camp. He said versus the Browns was basically training camp for me. So he was like, and then he finished, he was like, so imagine what it's going to look like in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop moment. And I didn't even have a mic in front of him. We were just talking.
And he did, by the way, lead all receivers. It wasn't a great week across the board in the NFL for passing games.
He led all receivers?
Not in the NFL, but in the game.
Okay, got
in the game, he led all receivers. But I
was like, what?
Yeah, sorry. Leading into my next point of the NFL didn't pass the ball around a lot. Dak had 179 yards. He ended up being like a top 12 quarterback in passing.
Yeah, because I mean the Saints dropped 47, but they didn't have a 100-yard receiver.
No.
So Shaheed was 73, which is very solid. 73 and a touchdown.
I think there were only a handful of
right. But to your point,
there
wasn't like this explosion of receiving yards.
But the one thing with CD is and I'm kind of halfway in between both of you guys. I don't think he was bad by any stretch.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay. But good. But
I was going to say.
Then I may be a little bit more toward Josh then. I think he did what he needed to do and kind of what you expected of him. That's kind of what this offense was. I got what I expected offensively because CeeDee Lamb was still effective. He was still good.
Yes.
And he helped open up the rest of the offense. I thought Brandon Cooks looked fantastic.
Yes.
I thought Ezekiel Elliott, I thought he looked what I wanted to do. He was great in pass protection. Mm-hmm. He converted in short yardage situations, and he's not super explosive. That's how it is. He's 4 yards per carry. That's about what you're going to get with
that
Zeke.
hurdle if it had counted.
If it had counted, it would have been great.
Yeah.
I love it. And there may be games where he does go off and he has 80 or 90 yards. But if we're thinking Zeke's going to hit up 100 plus on every occasion, that your expectations are wildly misplaced.
It means they didn't read Science Lab from last week.
Exactly.
Well,
so,
it's by virtue of what the running back room is now.
It's a collective.
It's collective.
And I think Zeke did exactly what his job is. Mm-hmm. Come in here and pass protect. He wrapped up a blocker and saved a play. It didn't end up in a completion, unfortunately, but he saved a play by blocking the way that he blocks in pass protection. God. I love it.
Threw a guy out of the club.
Absolutely. I loved it. But he did his job. He did exactly what you expected of him. I think that's what this offense was. Tyler Guyton, Cooper Beebe.
Yes, sir.
They had good debuts, if not great debuts, but a couple times they got beat.
Of course.
As it
which
goes.
Which is what you expected.
Miles
Garrett.
And he's alive and breathing.
We said it.
Tyler Guyton is alive and breathing today.
I specifically said it last week. I said Myles Garrett is going to win some of these reps. Tyler Guyton is going to win some of those reps.
Yeah.
The end question will be who won the most reps. As we sit here and have this conversation, Tyler Guyton won the most reps.
I agree.
Also, quiet as it's kept, Terrence Steele.
Yes.
Terrence Steele looked really good yesterday, right?
He had a couple plays that I didn't like.
The offense,
other
fair.
than that.
Tyler Guyton had a couple plays that you didn't like, right?
Yeah.
Zach Martin had at least one play you didn't like, where Dalvin Tomlinson introduced himself.
Dalvin got him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I say that to say each one of those guys, including Tyler Smith, he allowed a pressure. But as a whole, this offensive line looks like it's going to be what we expect it to be as far as revamped and upgraded over recent seasons past.
So that kind of brings me to my next question of I think the defense.
And shouts out to Cooper Beebe.
No doubt. I think the defense exceeded my expectations, even though I had high expectations for the defense in the first place. Special teams exceeded expectations because Brandon Aubrey is Legatron. He's Aubramatic.
Nice. Legatron.
I mean, he's incredible.
That's nice.
I wanted that 71-yarder more than you ever would know. I wanted an opportunity. I thought he would drill it.
Okay, this is where I have to differ.
You wanted to.
When it got pushed back to 71, I looked over at Nick Harris, and Harris was like, "Do it," and I was like, "Don't do it." And Harris was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Because now it's injury risk, right? 71, maybe you pull something. It's not worth it. It's not worth it." I would love to see it as a fan of the game and as a Cowboys fan. I would love to see it happen 100%. But something in my spirit kicked in when it got pushed back to 71, and I actually took a little bit of an exhale when I saw the offense come back. I was like, okay, all right. So it was kind of like a duplicitous thing in my head because half of me wanted to see it happen for the culture. The other half was like, what happens if you get this and then he comes up limp? Or he's on the injury report next week. I was like, it's just not worth it.
That's a fair point. The one thing I would say is that he just kicked it from 66, and it would have been good from 71.
That's
fair. He had already done it.
But what if he tries to put a little bit more oomph in that 71?
That's fair. That's
the thing.
Then he hits it from 78, and then we're trying that next week.
In my best Kyle Yeoman's voice, it didn't happen. So
You're right. Good point. But defense exceeds expectations. Special teams exceeds expectations. I think offense met expectations. I think they're right there. But where do you want to see them grow most?
Well, back to CeeDee Lamb just briefly, because we talked about how I think last week where it was sort of expected that he wouldn't get 100 yards receiving.
Sure. Yes,
granted, he had all-purpose in the 90s, right?
86.
86.
All-purpose.
I think that's totally fine.
Right
and
there.
like you're saying, he's getting into the groove now. That's week 1 of training camp. We'll see what the third week of training camp is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get ready, Baltimore.
Or even the second week because home opener.
Get ready, New Orleans.
Well, he's advancing at a faster rate.
I'm saying he gets juice for AT&T Stadium.
Right.
He does.
Fair enough. As far as the offense goes, I was really disappointed with the run game overall. With Deuce only getting 1 carry, I think that's tough.
Positive yards on it, though.
Yeah, he averaged 4 yards
Nice.
on a 4-yard carry.
There we go.
Right?
Progress.
4.2, right?
But I think in the second half where you could realistically lean on your offensive line to get yards on the ground. I mean, think of the Lions game last night. Their overtime drive where they just ran the ball
the whole time,
the entire way down the field and scored that. We're not there yet, and I want us to be there. Granted, we don't have David Montgomery in our backfield.
No,
but
or Jahmyr Gibbs.
But our offensive line, I think, is good enough to lead any back down the field like that. And to me, in the second half, our offensive line was not pushing guys down the field in the running game like we should have.
For me, it's and
that's a top tier defensive line.
Yeah, for me, and
to be fair,
I don't disagree with the fact that I would like to see as a collective. I think Zeke was impressive. I think he was exactly what we expected him to do. He came in and did everything that he was rehired.
DYJ, do your job.
Absolutely. Rico Dowdle struggled, and also it's because one of the reasons he struggled is because he saw a heavy box much more often than Ezekiel Elliott did. But nonetheless, when you talk about the collective, we didn't see Deuce Vaughn really get involved. Only the one handoff.
He's great on special teams.
Yeah, you did see CeeDee Lamb get involved, but they did that last season as well. It wasn't a bad or poor outing by the rushing attack. We would just like to see more. So I agree with that. For me, I just want to see more consistency with the passing attack over the course of 4 quarters. And I'm confident that that's going to come based on what we've seen from this passing attack with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks on the back end of last season and Jake Ferguson sidebar. News and notes, Jake Ferguson will have an MRI today to determine the severity of the apparent knee injury, but I can tell you, I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Jake Ferguson walked out of the locker room yesterday. There was no knee brace. There was no compression sleeve. He was not on crutches. He had simply ice on his knee that was being held on by gauze. So optimism there, and that was about 30 minutes before Dak Prescott got on the podium and said, quote unquote, he told me he's fine, we'll be fine, end quote. Tests will definitely show what's going on there, but it sounds as if the Cowboys did dodge a big bullet.
That would be a huge
massive
bullet.
Now, that being said, when Jake Ferguson was in the game, made a couple plays here and there, but I felt like Jake didn't get involved enough early. Shouts out to Dak Prescott for that phenomenal Kobe fade away in the face of a cover 0 blitz to Brandon Cooks deep left touchdown. Wonderful. I expect to see kind of more of those bigger plays. Deep right to CeeDee Lamb, beautiful. But in the second half, those deep balls kind of stalled those deep plays. Now, kudos to the Browns because they were able to get a little bit more pressure in the second half than they did in the first half. But nonetheless, whether it be the offensive line kind of hunkering down more in the third and fourth quarter going forward in conjunction with just taking more shots. And I can also probably attribute it to Cowboys up big, Mike McCarthy starts handing the ball
just
off.
about to ask that question is from we heard Micah say it, right, where they haven't even unveiled the whole playbook or whatever it is. And, I mean, yes, a playbook is built as the year goes along. It's not day one, same one as it is in Week 18.
Right.
However, it did kind of feel like the play calling took an odd shift. And McCarthy even talked about it in the postgame. He said, I got to be better as a play caller in the second half of games. He said that in his press conference. Dak mentioned it. Zeke mentioned it. I think CD at one point maybe alluded to it. He may not have directly asked or talked about it. But they didn't feel like the play calling was the same in the second half as it was in the first half.
Agreed, it wasn't.
Do you think they did take their foot off the gas a little bit once they were up 20-3 and just said, let's try some things that maybe we have put on paper, but we haven't necessarily put in game action yet?
I would hate for that to be the case. I would hate for them to be like, yeah, let's take the foot off the pedal a little bit.
Maybe not intentionally. That might have been the wrong phrasing. Do you think they tried some new things and it just didn't go to plan?
No, because if you look at the history of Mike McCarthy and what he's done in blowout wins, sort of similar to how we were playing in the first half of this, he doesn't take his foot off the pedal.
That's a good point.
He goes for it. And I think at least with the offense towards the second half, and Mike McCarthy even said this in his post-game meeting with the players, was that that was September football right there. Like you saw that a little bit in the second half, and it wasn't gelling, it wasn't clicking right there. A few things we need to fix. And Dak was kind of throwing, not erratically, but like he wasn't throwing Dak-like footballs out there. Even his seam throw didn't work last night. So I would like to see more consistency there for sure.
I say credit the Browns for making a halftime adjustment. Obviously, the Browns defense made a halftime adjustment. They saw some things that were working against them in the first half. They came out and did their best to delete those things. And for the most part, they made life a little bit more difficult for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. And, of course, absent Jake Ferguson and that, the majority of that second half, that's going to impact the game as well. So, hopefully Jake Ferguson doesn't miss significant time, if any time at all. Hopefully he can get back on the field for the home opener. But when you talk about the play calling for Mike McCarthy in the second half, I don't think that he mindfully took his foot off of the accelerator. I just think that's how the game started to go when the Browns adjustments kind of took away some of those deep passes. And that, in conjunction with the Cowboys being up big, led McCarthy to say, okay, well, let's try to hand it off a little more. Let's try more of these short to mid-range passes and things like that, because there weren't as many deep shots in the second half as there were in the first half.
Now, I want to just remind everybody before we head to the second break, this was a quality opponent. This is a team that was in the playoffs last year that won double-digit games.
It was the Browns.
This isn't the same Browns.
No, not just that. Playoff Browns.
Browns.
With their franchise quarterback back. Number one defense in the league. Yep. Oh, and by the way, Jerry Jeudy, they traded for him. Elijah Moore's there. Amari Cooper, 5-time Pro Bowler. And they were favorites.
Yes, they were favored in the game going in.
So now how all of a sudden after they get blown out it's just the Browns.
Andrew on the road.
I almost got fired just now. Cut the crap.
There you go.
Cut
Good job.
the garbage,
nice
man.
Job.
Cut the crap.
I will say, I don't know if Deshaun Watson's a quality quarterback. I mean, they may have some conversations.
He can run his backside off, if nothing else. And they did not allow that.
DeMarvion Overshown said,
DeMarvion Overshown going into that game, I read y'all the quote. He said, I'm looking forward to it. He said, I'm ready for it. And he showed you. 100% showed you. Ooh, it's time. We are so back.
When we come back,
we are so back.
Here on Talkin Cowboys, this will be the last smelly stickers of this packet of smelly stickers. We're running out of stickers.
Me for a second, man.
No. We'll get a new pack. But this has been the one from the jump. From the first time we started doing smelly stickers in 2021, really 2020, I think. 2020. This has been the pack. This is the last one. Then we're going to get some new smelly stickers. We'll give our helmets, our game balls, our smelly stickers, whatever you want to call it, when we come back with more Talkin Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. All smiles here on a Victory Monday. The Cowboys defeat the Cleveland Browns 33-17 with Josh Rodriguez, Patrik "No-See" Walker, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Isaiah out today and tomorrow. He's on this little show they called Good Morning Football.
You might have heard of it.
On the NFL Network. So he's out there doing his national gig. He'll be back on Wednesday, so be sure to join us there. He did give us the smelly sticker. So let me explain this for those, this might be your first time watching Talkin Cowboys. We always welcome in new members of the Talkin Cowboys family, Talkin Cowboys Nation, as we call it. Every year, we have this helmet. This helmet is scrubbed clean every single year. Started in 2020, and I give credit to Heckma Harrison, a former member of the podcast, of creating the term. He basically said, for a game ball, a player of the game, scratch and sniff. Scratch and sniff stickers is what he got. Instead of a gold star, he said he did so well that it was a scratch and sniff that he deserved. You know,
Nice.
whenever you're a kid and you do something good, you get a gold star or a green dot or whatever it may be. He said you get one of these stickers. So that's become our tradition, is throughout the year on a Victory Monday or Victory following day, whatever it may be, the Cowboys, we would give out their each individual players of the game, and we fill up this helmet with the smelly stickers. Like I said in the previous segment, this is the last time we're going to be using this pack, which has been there from the very beginning. We're going to order some new ones and have some new content. But I'll let Isaiah start us off. He texted it in. He has his smelly sticker, and I've got this strawberry for whoever Isaiah's player of the game is, and the strawberry is winking. It looks a little sly, right? He's winking at the camera, and he's saying, "Don't forget about me. Don't forget about me just yet." That's DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
Don't forget about D-Law. D-Law had himself a game, couple of sacks. He was in the backfield quite a bit. Of course, you have the ability with Micah Parsons to open up the rest of the defense. D-Law helped open up Micah Parsons on occasions yesterday, and it really helped out. That is a complementary duo that I think is going to have a phenomenal year.
I love it. I love
Great
to
job,
hear it.
Isaiah. Great pick.
Love it, Isaiah.
Strawberry by proxy.
We miss you. We wish you were here. All the above.
All the above.
You're a great dude. All right. My smelly sticker. I'm going to go with a little guy. Not a little guy. Well, I mean, this is a little guy. This is technically a little,
It is a little guy.
a little peach.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling peachy because our boy, and more so Nick Harris's boy, Hunter Lipke, absolutely shined yesterday in our first regular season game. by doing the most. I mean, not only was he your fullback, running back, he was also in the passing game. He was also catching balls. He was converting first down yardage for Dak Prescott, who lost Jake Ferguson in the first half there. Shouts to Hunter Lipke for a great game. And
shouts out.
Love to see it.
Bang, bang.
Need to see more Hunter Lipke. Give him the ball once or twice, huh?
Yeah, why not? Had a great
not
catch
on the goal line, but
they had him a couple times lined up in the single back and didn't hand it off. So hand it off.
A decoy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
they're afraid of.
They can't hang
of El
with Hunter
Boogie.
Lipke.
So for my smelly sticker, I'm going with the smiling mango that's rubbing his belly. Why is the smiling mango rubbing his belly? Okay, this mango. Take it easy, champ. This mango is for DeMarvion Overshown.
Nice.
Because go eat. That is what DeMarvion Overshown was able to do against the Cleveland Browns. In just under 40 snaps, he tied for the team high 9 tackles with Eric Kendricks. He had a sack, which was a 3-yard loss on 4th and 6, had 2 quarterback pressures, and absolutely balled out in his NFL regular season debut after a torn ACL being suffered last season. DeMarvion Overshown showed speed, he showed intellect, and he showed physicality. So, Mango rubbing his belly, go eat.
I had no idea where you were headed with the mango.
That's the fun of it, right?
That was hilarious. That was good. All right, last one. We got little pineapple here, tiny little pineapple. This is my player of the game. This is my smelly sticker. It's got a little bag on it, right? Little backpack.
Ooh,
okay. It's green. Just so happens to be green.
With the green bag.
I know where this is going.
He got the bag before the game.
The bag.
He got the opportunities, and he just took care of the football. Dallas is now 12-0 since the beginning of last year when they win the turnover battle. And that was a big part of how Dak Prescott led the offense. Wasn't perfect, it wasn't pretty, and it wasn't the best game Dak's going to have this year. But one, congratulations on a new contract, $240 million. I think he's worth every single penny. We'll talk about that later on, I'm sure. This is going to be a Dak Prescott smelly sticker because he took care of the football. Didn't do too much. There were times in that game where he could have gone and gone over the line and gone too much, but didn't do that.
He didn't take any points off the board either.
No, he did not.
From Brandon Aubrey.
Nope. So. Did a nice job. Dak Prescott, smelly sticker. Could have been everybody. I mean, Micah could have gotten one. I think we'll give Micah 400 smelly stickers if we really did.
He'll have his own helmet by the end of the season.
We might as well just make a Micah helmet. Chris, do you have a smelly sticker you want to give out?
I mean, don't we have to give it to the Torpedo?
Oh! Beam wins.
Torpedo.
What's up? That's his first of his career.
Speed, Torpedo.
The Torpedo.
Oh, that's a good one.
And shouts to everybody on Twitter who name dropped Speed.
No, not shouts out. Stay out of my mentions with that.
They put it in your mentions. They put it in my mentions.
You got to like
at
the Torpedo.
Of the star.
Torpedo is fire.
Torpedo is pretty sweet. I'll use this lollipop. How about that?
There we go.
You got the. It looks like a torpedo. Yeah. Oh, I dropped it. It looks like a torpedo. So yeah, there you go.
You have to give it to him. It's his first of his career.
Very nice. Boom. There you go. Smelly stickers for week 1, everybody. We are going to fill up this helmet as the year goes along, and we are going to have plenty more of the smelly stickers.
Facts.
Man, this pack served us well. Served us from 2020 to 2024. Great job. Just one last sweet smell from the smelly stickers.
That's so lovely, don't you agree?
Here on our first Victory Monday of 2024. Hope you had as much fun as we did. We'll be back tomorrow. We're taking calls tomorrow. It's a Talkin Tuesday. So 888-855-2297. You can get on the phone line now if you want to and just go ahead and wait on it all day long. For Chris Beam, Josh Rodriguez, and Patrick No-C Walker, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from Talkin Cowboys. Cowboys win at 33-17, 1-0 in 2024.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!